Hello Infiniteers, and welcome back for my next episode of Toy Box Classics. Today we're going to build the Saucier station in Gusteau's kitchen, and this is the little room that's through the archway over here. Here are some screenshots from the Ratatouille movie that shows the Saucier station. You can see a stove to Linguini's left, along with a hood above it. On the far wall is a stainless steel workstation with a drawer, and above that is a stainless steel shelf. Above that is a large window that looks outside, and in DeAnimator's original toy box, he omitted that window, so I did the same in my recreation of his toy box, and instead he added another shelf, so I did that too. If you want to build that window, you can, but be aware that if you do, it will let some light into the room, which would be fine, except it'll probably introduce some flickering too, where the light flickers on and off depending on where you are in the toy box. I'm sure if you've spent any time in the toy box, you've seen that before. You can see it in my Asgard toy box in my Player Battles mini-series, and that flickering can become annoying. If you wander around the palace in that toy box, the sunlight flickers on and off, and it'll drive you crazy. But if you leave this room sealed, where you have no windows, no light coming through the ceiling, then you're probably going to be okay. At least I haven't seen any flickering on my Wii U. Now from this shot, you can't see what is on the right wall of the Saucier station. But in this shot you can. There's another set of shelves containing cooking supplies and utensils. And this shot only shows the bottom three shelves. You can't see how high this thing goes, but in this shot you can. And when we add up the number of shelves between the two screenshots, there are a total of 4 shelves. So this is what we're going to build today. And I've placed a number of things ahead of time out on the floor that we'll get to a little later, so just ignore those for now. When we pick them up and put them in place later, you can see where they are in the toy box drawers. Okay, so let's begin with the little shelf over here. And I'm thinking it might be best to start with this, this little pillar block. And let me pull up my screen grab here. Yeah, this is going to sit about 1 block away over here, okay? And let's go ahead and style this to be our stainless steel theme. That's the Metal 1 theme. And for the bottom shelf, we'll use the large floor surface. And we're going to place, see, we'll do it like this. Place 2 of those like that. Then we'll come back over here and pick up our pillar block. We're going to place 2 more on top of each other. And the same over on each corner. Just put in, oops, the legs of the table. So like that. Okay, and then let's pick up this piece to get back to that part of the drawer. We'll put that back, and we'll come over here. And we'll do that. And then to get rid of those deep grooves in the top of that, we'll put a couple of these on there. And then against the wall, we'll put a couple of these, followed by a balcony block. To support the shelf above it. We'll pick up our large floor block and put another shelf over here. And then we'll do the exact same thing for the final shelf. 2 more of those. 2 more of those. Get out here away from that. And 2 more of those. Okay, so there's the little shelf that's leading into the Saucier station. And I know the one in the movie had kind of black back here, but when I tried to do that, it just didn't look right. So we just made the whole thing stainless steel. And I think that's what the animator did, and that just looks better to me. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the things we want to put on the shelves here. And let me find my screen grab here. So I kind of put these in the same places. And as I pick these up, you can see what drawer they're in. So this is the chicane hopover from the racetrack pieces. Kind of looks like a little wedge of cheese though, doesn't it? So I kind of like that. And when you start looking at these things in terms of if they look like some kind of food or kitchen item, then you kind of start to see things. This looks like some kind of a abrasive, scrubby thing, or a salt lick or something. The Tuscan Raider hut, if you flip this thing around, it looks kind of like an onion. So that's what I used it for. And I hid the door on the back side so the player wouldn't see it. This is out of Building Sets Group 4. It's the suburb lattice roof, but it kind of looks like some cinnamon sticks or something. So I thought that looked pretty cool, and I decided I would put that out here. These are out of the decorations drawer. If I can get to the thing, here we go. This is the jack-o'-lantern. If you flip it around, it kind of looks like a tomato. So that's what I'm using it for. This looks like some kind of leafy vegetable. It's the Toy Story bush. I just wanted to put a variety of things up here. And then this just looks like some kind of herb or something. So I like that. Okay. So there we have those. Now for the next shelf up, I'm going to put down a couple of things. Let me select this piece and put it back, because I want to use this. And we're going to place this about right there. And for this, we will use the Endor theme. Again, it just looks like a bunch of herbs or something like that, which I kind of like. Next, I'm going to use this, and if you're on PC, you may not have the new Alice in Wonderland textures that were added through the looking glass. And actually, that's not the one I was thinking of. Hang on a second. Let me come out of... the editor, and let me put down my Alice in Wonderland power disc. No. This is why we're not putting the ceiling on, because it tends to throw us up there. Alright, so we put that one on. Let me see if it's the other Alice in Wonderland texture. Nope, that's the woodland terrain, so that's not it either. Let me pick that one up. I thought I knew which one this was, but now I am not sure. Okay, that would work. That would be acceptable because that has the mushroom on it, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. Oh, you know what? I wonder if it's the Pixie Hollow one. Let me try that. Because I was pretty sure it was this piece. Yeah, Pixie Hollow toadstools. That's the one I'm thinking of. Okay, so you should have this on your system. You should be able to unlock that theme without needing any power discs or anything. That's what we're going to use for our mushrooms. Now, if you don't have that theme, or if you want something different, this Toy Story bush, which is also from the plants drawer, that Toy Story tree could work. But you don't need that alternative because you can do this. Again, that's the Pixie Hollow one. All right, and then up on the top shelf, this looks like some more herbs or whatever that are in a little container. It's the Asgardian planter. And we'll place this over here about like that. This chimney, medium Fantasyland chimney, kind of looks like an olive oil bottle or something. So I kind of like that. And let me flip that this way, or yeah, we'll leave it that way. All right, and then I have my Forests of Felucia Terrain Power Disc down. This is from the Twilight of the Republic Power Disc Pack. And I put that on my base ahead of time. And if you do that, and you come over and style this, you end up with this weird-looking leafy lettuce plant thing. And I actually kind of like the looks of that as far as a food item goes. So I decided to place that. If you do not have that power disc, all right, then what you could use instead, you can use this, something like this. Or there is this thing, the Radiator Springs tree. There are some Incredibles trees. The large monster tree. Maybe not that one. But this kind of looks like some kind of a broccoli or something. So if you want to use one of those instead because you don't have this power disc, you could do that. Okay, so there is our first shelf. And, oh, one more thing. A couple more things. We need a way to get up between the shelves. And I did forget to put our step ladder over here before. So let me come over here and pick this thing up. Put it back. I realized after that episode when I built these prep stations that I forgot to put this in. I meant to go back in the next episode and do it. But then I forgot it then too. And I just kept forgetting. So Remy needs some way to get up there from the floor level. Now over here, to get up from this level to the next shelf, what we're going to do is put in some ledge hangs. So if we come over to the right, we'll do this double ledge hang. Double ledge hang? I think it's might be a single. Let me see here. There's an elevator that we're going to want to use. Yeah, I think that's what I did. Yeah, and then you can go from there to the next shelf over. Okay, so that gets you to that point. Oh, and there's one more thing I wanted to add up there. We're going to pick up this pillar, this column. So I just noticed this was missing. We're going to drop this back here about like that. And I want to style this using the Wood 1 theme. It kind of looks like a peppermill or something. Okay, so there is that. Now let's turn our attention over here to the shelves that go along the back. And to begin with, we'll pick this up, put it back. We're going to come all the way over into the back corner. And take that one back out because it's going to be covered up. And run that all the way down. And this is why we didn't need to fill in this part of the floor, because we are about to cover it up. And, yeah. There we go. So there we have that. And we'll pick that piece up, put it back, and we're going to come over here to this one and put one there and one there. And then take that all the way over. And this is for the drawer that was in the middle. So we'll put that in like that. Put this along the back like that. And this will be our next shelf. Okay, so there is that. And then to give Remy a way to get up there, or whatever character the player decides to use, we'll put one of these over here. Now we don't need to put one on every table because we want the player to use the jetpack to kind of get around too. But it's kind of nice to have a few here and there. Okay. Now the next shelf is going to be at the same level as this one. Okay. So I want to come over here, pick this up. And we're going to put this up here, because you'll notice I'm not giving a way to get up to this one. So the idea is they would jetpack across over to this shelf, then get up on top of the third shelf we're adding over here, which would allow them to then jetpack back over to that top shelf. And does this go all the way over? No, it stops there. Okay, so there's the second shelf. And then to get up to the next one, we'll put in some ledge hangs again. because part of the fun of this particular toy box is the platforming. All right, so we'll put this right up against the wall, right down here, like that. And then once again, we'll put the elevator in. Put that up top. And then we'll run the shelves all the way down to the end. And we'll put a front edge on that here shortly. But there we go. Okay, now, just getting my screenshot there. Let's come back over here. We're going to pick this little piece up and put it back. We also have this really large chicane, which looks like a really large wrapped something. And so we're going to put this right here, like that. We come up to platforming toys and we go left. We have this rotating spike, which I thought would make a nice obstacle for when they come off the ladder there. And if we keep going left, we come to the lab elevator, which looks kind of like a piece of kitchen equipment. So they could, if they come up this way, they could use this to hop up onto here. And this is going to be the shelf where they come for the ground beef for the burger. And for that, we're going to use this full dome. And we'll drop this right here. And for the texture on this, I'm going to style this using, let's see, the plastic garbage texture. I'm not exactly sure where that is, so I'm going to have to scroll here to look for that. But if you've never done it, I would highly encourage you to just set up a bunch of blocks and style it with these textures and just kind of see what they look like. Maybe take some screenshots with your phone or something, and then you'll kind of have a library of things to choose from. So later on, when you're looking for a texture for something, you can kind of flip through your pictures and see what you find. But that kind of looks like a piece of meat, maybe, sort of. That's what we're going to say it is, anyway. And for a little bit of extra detail, we'll come back over here, pick up this, and we'll add a couple of salt and pepper shakers back over here as well. The thing I don't want is I don't want the shelves to be empty. They kind of need to look like they're full of things, and that the chefs were actually working here. So that's why we have the meat out. We have this thing spinning around. We have all of these things. So you have kind of a wide variety. It looks like a well-stocked kitchen. Okay, on the next shelf, what we're going to do is let's come over here. I want to put that edging on. So let's grab this piece, put it back. We're going to put this right about halfway under the floor block like that. And let's style this using the same texture that we used over there on those stoves. the same piece that I picked up and put back, which is this plastic one. I'll set that to be my theme, because it kind of has a coppery look to it that I like. Okay, so then that gives us that. And then if we come up to platforming toys again, go over to the right and look for the pendulum. And we're going to place one. We're going to place 3 of these here, actually. And let's style this back to be our stainless steel theme. Because in the movie, there were like spoons and some different things that were hanging there that I thought was kind of cool. Actually, we're going to need to slide this over just a tad. And I spun it around so that when the toy box loads, they'll be going like that, and they won't be going all the same direction at the same time. You want them kind of moving around a little bit. And the idea there is that when they climb up here and use the jetpack to come over here, they have a little obstacle they have to get by to land on this shelf. Or if they're on this shelf, because they came up with that lab elevator, they got to get around these things to get off the shelf. Okay, and then we'll place a few things along here, and here's some other items that I found that I thought were kind of interesting. This treehouse stump from Building Sets Group 1 kind of looks like a cutting board or something like that. And you kind of want to place things over here that look like, again, like they belong in a kitchen. And over here, this is actually one of the Main Street USA pieces, but it looks like a little box of spice or something like that. So I thought we could use that. And then these stairs from the Aladdin pieces kind of looks a little bit like a grater for cheese or carrots or something. And I thought that would make a nice addition up here. Some other things you can do. And again, a lot of these were just me playing around with the different textures, seeing what I could find. But if we place this here and we style this using the Geonosis floor grate, you get something that looks a little bit like a sieve or a grater or something. I don't know, kind of like that. This we'll use for a piece of something, a little tool. We'll style this using the plastic 2 theme. Make it white. There. And that gives us some things for those shelves. And then for the top shelf, I thought we could put some pots and pans up there. So again, we'll pick that up. And this is mainly to give the player some obstacles up here for when they're battling the broccoli. They have a place where they can kind of take cover. Actually, that's got to sit back a little bit. I want to give them enough space to squeeze through, but not too much. On the back, I'd really rather have more space on the front. And then we'll put the smaller one. Let's see. If we have 1, 2, like that. Followed by the handle, like we did in a previous episode. And we'll make that black. So we'll come over and grab the black top. Okay. And then we'll put a few pillar blocks in here, or columns. And we'll style this. Let's see, using simulated wood. And just trying to make it look like there's some bottles or something up here. Okay, that fills in that shelf pretty nicely. Now it's starting to take shape. All right, next thing we will do is the stove that's over here. So let's pick this piece up, put it back. And let me find my screen grab for this. All right, I'm going to flip this around. We're going to put this at the same level over here, but we're going to move it one nudge to the left. And again, we will style this using plastic 1. Couple of pillar blocks on the corner. Kind of doing what we did with the stoves in the middle of the room a few episodes ago. There we go. And then we need the front of the stove, which will be this piece. We want that to sit in there like that, not like that. And actually, let's go ahead and take this piece out, because I want this to sit in here like that. Do the same thing with this one. And then we'll flip that around, change the style to be blacktop. And we will now add in our detail. So there's the base of the stove. And just like we did on the others, we'll kind of build this one the same way. So we'll drop this in there. We'll change the style back to stainless steel one final time. Over here we had used a piece of terrain for the middle of the stove. We'll do the same thing over here. And again, we'll style that like we did the other one. Use the imperial base. And then we'll pick this piece up, put it back, bring it over here, and place it there and change the style to be the carbon fiber. That'll be our cooking surface. Here we go. And for the burner over here, we'll go ahead and add a pot onto that. It's really starting to look like a kitchen now, isn't it? Got all kinds of cooking surfaces going and food items and all kinds of cool things. Okay, I like that. Once again, we'll pick that piece up. We just need a couple of switches here, or places for switches. If we were going to put something here to turn on the burners. So we'll use the metal one theme one more time. It's a little too far back. There we go. Okay, and then we need the hood. And for the hood, let's pick this piece up, put it back. I want to bring this up to this level, even with that terrain seam. And we're going to place this a block and a half away from that corner. So that's 1 block away, 1.5 blocks away. Again, we'll style this with the blacktop theme. And we'll build a hood similar to the one that was over in the archway over there. And this will come like that, like that. And like that. So basically following the same pattern that we did before. Okay. And then we need this piece flipped around like that. Leave a gap. Like that. And then we'll fill in some ones with that copper theme. Plastic one theme. I'll set that to be my theme. We'll add in the highlights. And there we go, just like that. And I think, yeah, we had them up underneath this too. Yeah, that looks like the one across the way. Okay, and there we are. There's the Saucier station. And that looks pretty good. So that's the Saucier station. Next time, we will build the back door and the doorway to the produce storage room and put a few finishing touches on this toy box, and then the build exercise will be done. Well, that's all for me today. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Disney Infinity content like this. And before you go, leave a comment to let me know what you think of the Saucier station. Take care.